It's been officially 19 years since Taylor released her debut self-titled album, and because Taylor kept outdoing herself, therefore by today's standards it's seen as one of her weakest albums, its impact really shouldn't be overwritten just because she got better with time. Taylor's self-titled album established her as a mature songwriter who also proved that you can draw specifically from your life and put it out there and still have the songs be relatable, something that
This album changed my life, and it happens to be the re-record that I personally am most excited for, so let's do a deep dive. Taylor Swift's debut album, titled
So I can't believe it's been 19 years since the release of Taylor's debut album. Let's celebrate it and get into it.
It's been officially 19 years since Taylor released her debut self-titled album, and because Taylor kept outdoing herself, therefore by today's standards it's seen as one of her weakest albums, its impact really shouldn't be overwritten just because she got better with time. Taylor accomplished a lot of things besides just chart placements with this record. She might not be as active on social media today, but she is actually one of the pioneers for embracing social media and its impact on music way back in 2006. Taylor embraced her MySpace page and interacted with her fans, got to know them, sent messages, posted updates, shared what she was up to, and proved to record executives and critics alike that social media was going to play an important role in the music industry going forward. MySpace and social media, which wasn't even a term back then, was written off as a silly little millennial thing, until artists like Taylor Swift showed how effective it could be in connecting with fans, therefore selling more records. While the album did not go #1 and only sold 40,000 copies, by today's standard that sounds like nothing, especially when she just sold 4 million albums and outsold it by 100 times. For 2006 to debut in the top 5 as a brand new artist on the Billboard charts was very impressive. And also, her self-titled album is self-titled for a variety of reasons. #1, it was incredibly common back then in the industry to have your first album be titled your name so that you could establish yourself as an artist and not have an album title get in the way or distract from who you are. It was also important to self-title it because it introduced her as a songwriter that could properly compete with her competition on radio at the time. Also, by using her MySpace page and embracing social media, she tapped into a market that was listening to country music that was largely getting ignored: young teenage girls. While the album does deal with teenage themes like love, heartbreak, and things like that, on 2006 country radio, it was also very mature, which is why Tim McGraw was chosen as the first single. If you listen to the song, it's a look back on a teenage love, not an actual teenage love, which is why that song worked so effectively. And also, if you've never seen Taylor meet Tim McGraw for the first time, you really should look that up, because he and Faith Hill still sing her praises to this day. Taylor's self-titled album established her as a mature songwriter who also proved that you can draw specifically from your life and put it out there and still have the songs be relatable, something that was pushed back against by record execs. In 2006, it was much more common to have other people write your songs for you, and then you could prove over time that you could write your own stuff. But as we know, Miss Taylor Swift said, "No, I'm the writer, this is what I'm doing." And she was right, which makes her one of the millennial artists that helped change that dynamic in the industry so that some kids today cannot even fathom you not writing your own music. Self-titled established Taylor as a songwriter, someone who saw the call of an untapped market and went for it, embraced social technologies, and it worked because her album went on to be certified 8 times platinum. Tim McGraw sparked a whole conversation about a new generation of songwriters. Teardrops on My Guitar showed that you can put your own personal touch on a song and still have it be a hit, even helping her cross over onto pop radio. Girl has been on pop radio since the very beginning, when Teardrops on My Guitar was given a pop mix. Taylor for years shopped around different demos and unreleased songs that we still don't have today. Looking at you, I'd lie. That better be on Taylor's version. And created a record that was a compilation of the best that she could write at the time. Many of the songs on Self-Titled were previously performed before the album was ever released. She chose the best of the best, and it worked. So shout out to my fellow 19-year Swifties and all of the amazing friends we have made in that time since. But the biggest takeaway I want everyone and every artist out there to learn from Taylor's self-titled record is that you don't have to go #1 to make an impact. This album is the epitome of charts are not everything, because they're not. Because truly, there wouldn't be this if there hadn't been you.
This album changed my life, and it happens to be the re-record that I personally am most excited for, so let's do a deep dive. Taylor Swift's debut album, titled Taylor Swift, was released October 24th, 2006. The original version had 11 tracks, 5 of which would go on to become singles, and she wrote or co-wrote every song on the album. Really, the story starts a couple years prior. Taylor was living in Pennsylvania, but she would visit Nashville with her mom, and she would pass out demo CDs of cover songs that she had done of country songs. She would go to record labels and basically say, hey, sign me, call me, and the record labels all felt like, with country music's demographic being predominantly a middle age group, nobody would want to listen to a young teenage girl. So now she's like, okay, I need to do something different to stand out. So she starts writing her own songs after she learned how to play guitar. And then she's performing the Star Spangled Banner at the US Open, and she catches the attention of this music manager who's like, hey, I want to help you get a development deal at RCA. So now it's 2004, her family relocates from Pennsylvania to Hendersonville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, and she signs a publishing deal with Sony ATV Tree Publishing at the age of 14, becoming the youngest signee ever. She meets Liz Rose, one of her longest collaborators and co-writers. Now she's been with RCA for a year, and they're basically like, we don't know if we're gonna sign you or not to a record deal. So she's like, okay, I gotta go, because she felt like they weren't appreciating or confident in the songs that she was writing. So it's 2005, she's performing at an industry showcase at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, and Scott Borchetta is in the audience. She had met him a year prior in 2004, but during this performance is when he basically says, hey, I want to sign you to this independent record label I'm starting called Big Machine Records. And this is when her career as a recording artist really begins. Something that really fascinates me about the writing and production on this album is how authentic and true to herself Taylor was throughout this process at such a young age. She was writing from the perspective of a teenager through confessional lyrics, through honest lyrics, and she wasn't writing about the things that people typically associate with country music. Things like tractors and hay bales, because as she said herself, that's not really the way that I grew up. So I love that she didn't allow somebody to tell her, well, this is what the country music audience is used to hearing, so we need you to write about this. She was like, that's not what I know, I'm gonna write about what I know. On the production side, she convinces Big Machine to have Nathan Chapman produce the record after she had gone through a couple different producers that they had her experiment with, and they felt that it was a little bit of a risk because he had never produced a commercially released studio album. And it's a little ironic because he goes on to produce Fearless, Speak Now, Red, This Love on 1989. Clearly, she knew from the start that that was a good partnership for her. After spending 4 months recording the album, the first single is released. It's titled Tim McGraw, and it was inspired by her relationship with her boyfriend in high school, who was a senior and he was leaving for college. She goes on radio tour, which is very standard in country music. She starts making appearances at award shows. She's really going anywhere where she can because her manager at the time had told her, if you want to sell 500,000 albums, you have to meet 500,000 people. But what was different about Taylor is that she was making connections with her fans online through MySpace. She really created what felt like a personable relationship with them. Tim McGraw went on to peak at number 6 on the Hot Country chart and number 40 on the Billboard Hot 100. Much more to say, go to part 2.
So although I didn't truly become a big Taylor fan until 1989 in Reputation, I still think it's important to recognize the album that changed everything for her. And that is her debut, which spawned hits like Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar. The album would go on to sell 8 million copies in the US and was reissued multiple times between 2007 and 2008 by Big Machine Records. And now fans await the Taylor's version. And with that being said, how long have you been a Taylor fan? And if you missed the massive news about her Songwriter Hall of Fame nomination, check out this next video.